Patriots and citizens, my name is Joseph Barber. I'm a member of the Resistance. I'm a former soldier and a veteran. I stand for the poor. As you can see, that most of us have been, most of the things have been talked in this presidential debate. Only of the middle class. Means 1 of 6 children are living in poverty today. Think about that. 187 million Americans living in poverty. When I started Freedom or Anarchy Campaign of Conscience, it was with myself and former veterans, just like Manning and Sean, who released information to the people to tell the truth. And the truth is what we seek. Right? We've witnessed our fellow brothers and sisters die. And we feel the pain. We've also came home and found ourselves, because we've spoken out, to end up with the homeless, with the poor, to have our characters assassinated, our careers destroyed, us marginalized and set aside. On my Facebook page, when I started this, I communicated with my family of what my intentions were. They were concerned of what would happen to me, what would happen to us, what would happen to the children. So at first I decided I wasn't going to do it, and the Resistance had to find another way to communicate the truth, because they're locking patriots and soldiers up every day. There's quite a few, matter of fact, on Facebook, and that are friends of mine on the Facebook page, that will tell you and show you that they've been detained, arrested for speaking out, no different than Manning and Hassan. But yet President Obama leaks information, denies information. He is not our leader. Okay? He allowed the people in Benghazi to be murdered. He is the leader. He is responsible. Just like me in the field and any other officer. Our duty is to our soldiers, to our troops. We are responsible, ultimately. No more excuses. No more who's to blame. You either take charge and do your job, or leave. Now, on that note, my family has suffered greatly due to my posts on Facebook and my membership in the Resistance. At a point in this, we all decided that there should only be one. One who will be the martyr, and that's me. One who will take the responsibility. That was me. I chose that position because I believe so strongly in the people. I have no support for any politician or any government. In my years growing up, I was raised by a Native American who was a soldier. I was taught to be a soldier, raised to be a soldier. In that Native aspect, I have a history that goes back to the 500-year wars, where 500 million Native Americans were massacred. I also, on the other hand, have my parents on my mother's side, Italian. My grandparents, my grandfather taught me and told me his stories of everything of Mussolini and Hitler, and before that. And this is why I have such a great understanding of government and politics. I have taken it upon myself to forget the indoctrination that has been placed upon me from the day I started kindergarten and educated myself. Many of those who say that my posts on Facebook are incorrect. That may be because too many people rely on the media. They rely on man's idea of the most massive propaganda machine in the world, the media. Now I present this to you. If the media is telling you the truth, then why is it edited? If you edit the truth, it no longer remains. There are so many things that have happened to my family due to this. I'm separated from them this day. And for the last 2 years, I have been. If my posts are so incorrect on Facebook and inaccurate, then why am I trying to be hunted? Why has people in dark blue SUVs and officers shown up at my quarters, my home, in Southern California to detain me? My posts must not be all that incorrect now, are they? George Orwell said, telling the truth is a revolutionary act. And that is true. But the truth has not been told to you. A few days ago, I got a wire through Morse code. You see, technology can be greatly intervened in. The internet is the greatest thing that mankind has ever invented that he doesn't understand, but the government does. And understand, 300,000 veterans trained by our government are living on the streets today. There was a while back I posted a post that showed me standing outside with a sign, "Please, family needs help, we'll work for cash." There are many of us who have not given up. I would not have to be doing that. But I'm not too proud, and I will not let my pride get in the way of taking care of those that I love. I stand with the people. I'm not just an American citizen. I'm a global citizen. Because this affects every single human being on the planet. If you lie, as they did in Benghazi, I quote off the wire, "Allah, my brother. Praise Allah. Praise God, my brother." My answer. Benghazi. CIA tactical reconnaissance teams. Do not comprehend. It was a necessary military move to ensure non-intel out of the region. Minimal collateral damage. You have to excuse me, it's kind of hard. I'm still learning Arabic. Minimal collateral damage. Necessary. In message. Second question. Funding. Who funds these resistance fighters? I had to wait for about an hour for a response. American aid. Foreign aid. In message. That tells me right there that those in power, the leader of this country, is very well aware of what they're doing. On the aspect of Zionism, cruel and inhumane, since the very start in the earliest tribe of Israel, there's been war between them. There will continue to be war. Man is creating his own demise for himself without following the repeat and understanding history. Now, when it comes back to the Facebook page that I had to share with you, I received that a couple days ago. If my posts are so incorrect, then why are these people trying to detain me and silence me? Not just me, but many others that they've already got a hold of and detained. My messages, my information comes from people on the ground. I do not put much stock in the media, the government, or man. I will support no government and no politician. But the people I have on the ground and friends that I have been able to gain over my 49 years of life, some are beautiful. Some are cruel and inhumane. Some will kill you in a heartbeat without thinking about it. But nonetheless, they are my friends. And I am glad and proud to be able to say that I've been able to have a way to communicate with people of all cultures. A way that they can believe in me as well as I believe in them. I may not believe in their cause, but I understand it. You can call God whatever you want. Allah, Buddha, Tao. But believe me, my citizens and my friends, the first time I ever killed anyone, I finally understood the Lord and everything I'd been taught. See, my mom was a hippie. My dad was a soldier. My grandfather was an Indian chief Cherokee. My grandfather was a resistance fighter. So as you can see, I have a unique perspective on things. I have no way of showing you or making you believe what I do. See, the Lord, the kingdom of God, is inside all of us. He is all around you. Split a piece of wood, and you will find him. Turn a stone over, and he will be there. You must forget what you've been taught to believe. No matter where you were from, or what your cause or what your belief, you know the difference between right and wrong. I do. Your conscience will lead the way. There's so many things that have happened to me and my family. We've had to move multiple times. Because of my post being so quote, quote, incorrect, they've attacked my family. They've attacked my children. I've had to hide them. I've had to send them away. I've had to beg and borrow to do anything. And I tell you this now, those who have stood with me have been the poor. The poor people who are probably getting entitlements, who are probably living off of a welfare check, who can't afford to even support themselves, but yet they fed me, they've housed me, they've loved me, they shared their life with me. I have a different perspective of these people and more respect than any rich man I know. And I know some. Right now, I'm in an area where I'm barely making it. I have other people to take care of. And it is my duty, and I will find a way. I'm having to hunt for my food. Well, I guess you would call it poaching because it's out of season. And that, too, is another government regulation. God put these animals on the planet to feed us, to help us. Not for the government to regulate. Another thing, food. Oh, we're going to regulate that. A necessity of life. We're going to tell you what you got to pay for it because this is what we want. We regulate it because we are going to grow just enough so we can charge you the best price. Water, a necessity of life. Same aspect. And we can go on. But the bottom line is, the truth comes from the people. This Constitution, which people do not understand, they stand for it. They believe in it. They have this patriotic idea, but they haven't educated themselves in the organic laws or exactly what the Constitution means and what it stands for. We have always had plantation owners. Let's put it in layman terms, okay? Plantation owners. Without the plantation owners and the rich, the 1%, the poor and the middle class don't work. Pure and simple. It doesn't matter what country you're from, what culture you're from. That's just the way it is. Now, they have taken that from me because of my post, because I'm so incorrect. But lest they forget, many of us veterans, from the Vietnam War to Korean War to Afghanistan to Iraq, they taught us how to evade capture. They taught us how to interrogate. They taught us how to kill. They taught us how to know what intel is correct and what intel is not. And the best intel that any soldier can get is on the ground. And this is where my intel comes from. I may not post these people's names. I may not post where exactly the intel comes from. But that's because I am protecting my friends. They trust me enough to know that what I post will be an opinion. And they will remain anonymous. And the reason being is, why would I bestow anything upon them that's already been bestowed upon me? On Facebook, I've talked to people and I've asked and communicated for help from others to stand up as patriots. And to this day, I've not found one. And that's almost 5 years now. And those individuals have stuck with me, are just as hurting and poor, and maybe a paycheck from the street as me. We will not be silenced ever. There's a time coming, and it doesn't matter what political leader leads in this new election. What you're going to find is a massive loss of your human rights, your basic rights. And when I say human rights, 1 in 6 children live in poverty. The new ideas and agenda of the government and the world leaders today are not going to change that. They're not going to change that, because as long as they continue to take and act as kings or emperors, the poor will get poorer. The middle class will soon disappear. It's on its way there now. I had people give me money when I'm standing out on the street with a sign. And those people were driving pieces of crap cars. But those that drove by in a Lexus, a Hummer, a Jaguar, Lamborghini Countach couldn't afford to get 5 cents. And it wasn't that I was begging. It's that because of my pride, I was standing there. I love my family. And I will die for my family, and I will die for another. Because I know my God. I did this because I didn't allow my pride to get in the way of my best judgment. With 23 point something million Americans out of work, I used an alternative. No different than alternative medicine and away from Big Pharma. I used an alternative. I went out and stood out and said, please, family needs help. We'll work, keyword, for cash to help us. I didn't go beg to welfare because I'd asked for food stamps, denied. I've asked for veterans benefits, denied. I've asked for everything I could, denied. You want to know what character assassination is? I applied for my birth certificate because I lost it. I don't have one, but I had one when I joined the military. I was obviously born, and I'm obviously an American citizen who paid taxes for the last, I'm 49, I started working when I was, and taxes coming out about 17? Okay. Let's think about that a second. My DD-214. I got it, but the only thing that it shows on there is my reserved time. Contact St. Louis, where we have no other record. If you stand against the establishment, they will take your life from you, and they have mine. I may be alive and breathing. That's about it. The things that I have been able to accomplish and have been through my own incentive. The things that I've been taught to do to survive without anything, without any technology. Later today, I'll be going to get food. And how am I going to do that without money? I'm going to hunt it. Yes, I'm going to do something illegal. It's called poaching. But I have no choice. My family and friends of mine are hungry. We're supporting other people. I have 3 of my own children. I have 2 other children that were left to me from soldiers. They killed themselves because of PTSD. 2 other ones that had nowhere to go. None of which was my responsibility. And I could have said no. That's not me. I don't roll like that. I'm sorry. In order for us to even find a way to better ourselves in our world, we must all take responsibility for one another. Called universal responsibility. And if people can't see that, and they choose to believe what they've been indoctrinated into, you'll find out soon enough. Many of us patriots want to come out of the woodwork, but are living in fear. They're living in fear because look at what they've already done to many of our patriots just on Facebook alone. Manny, Hassan, you go on, there's no, I don't have the names on me now, so forgive me. Other ones that can't even tell you anything because now they are detained. I will not be detained. I will not be accosted. I've secured my family, and I am alone. I can't go near any of my friends. I can only communicate off the wire and through the internet, which in that aspect too is provided to me through another source. I ask you citizens today to start looking and seeking the truth and choose your words wisely when you go on Facebook. It's not that I want to run anybody off or not post anything on my sites. But what I want is you to understand what will happen to you if you do post on Facebook, and you post on my site, or any particular site like mine. You stand a chance of being in just as much hurt or character assassination as me or any other patriot. You have a choice. You stand up for the truth and freedom, or you conform. I will not conform. Not now, not ever. The one great thing about this country is I have good parents, or had. They're gone now. But they taught me a true value of telling the truth, being an honest tax-paying citizen. It seems that has been forgotten today, the truth. Many pay taxes because they're forced to. They don't have it. Any of these events that are happening, they say is to better the middle class. That's great. But the middle class comes nowhere close to the 186 point something million Americans living in poverty, and will continue to in an endless cycle of events. They say entitlement, and they give them food stamps, they give them this. That too in itself is an endless cycle of events. There must be a way for these things to change, and there is. It's the truth. If you can prove me wrong about any of my posts on Facebook, please do. I pray to God every day that I'm wrong, but I'm not. Patrons and citizens, if there's one thing that I have so dear in my life, it was what my son asked me before I started this with other veterans and soldiers, active duty and retired alike. We are the resistance. My son was holding his son. We were watching a news program. He said, "Dad, what is our kids going to live like?" I said, "You mean yours?" He goes, "Yeah." I don't know. I couldn't answer him. And from that moment on, I made a decision to stand in defiance, to find the truth, to seek it, to live it. No matter the cost to me. I've given my loyalty to this country. 14 and a half years, I gave them everything I had. I've been shot 3 times, stabbed twice, blown up, hurt, injured, multiple broken bones, and never did I deny my loyalty to this country. But they've abandoned me. The government, anyway. And many of the people as well. And that's okay. That's okay. See, I know the truth. And if you people don't want to see it, or the people of America are so blinded by the indoctrination process that they received since kindergarten to believe what these people are telling you to be the truth, then there's nothing that I can say to you to change your mind. I can talk till I'm blue in the face. Many have said I'm a racist because of my post about Obama. Not once in any post that I've made have I used an issue of culture or race against anyone. Not Islam, only the facts. Only the facts of Islam's religion, or the facts of Obama's job performance and duties that he's failed to do. If that makes me a racist, well, I guess I am then. But I have friends that are black. I have friends that are light brown. I have friends that are yellow. I have friends that are olive. I have friends from all over the world. And not one of them do I look at because of their color. I may not agree with people. I may not like some people. But I know in my heart that all people know the difference between right and wrong. You see, one man's freedom fighter is another man's terrorist. And that makes me, under the Patriot Act, a terrorist. What I'm communicating with you today, it makes me a terrorist under the Patriot Act in the eyes of the government. If they didn't consider me any kind of threat, Why then would 3 SUVs pull up to my house and I have to run in the middle of the night? I have to send somebody for my gear. And everything else I had, pictures of my family, this, that, and the other, all left behind. One more thing they're taken from me. What would you do if you were in my position? Would you stand down? I will not. I've come too far at this point in my life for the cause of freedom and justice and truth. I will not stand down. Not after they attacked my 2 boys, locked them up for something they didn't do, posted $1 million bond on, and then released them 17 days later and said, "Oh, I'm sorry." No, that was a threat to me, telling me to be silent. Well, they're protected now, and no one will touch them again. Believe me, there'll be enough guns to make sure that they're protected. And yes, I believe in the right to bear arms. It is my right to protect myself, not under the Constitution, but under a basic human right of self-preservation. A way to hunt life, liberty for oneself. Now, any of you citizens that choose to leave my side or not communicate or think I'm a racist, you do as you will and take it as you will. I have one last thing to say, is that we do need support. I do. I have friends who are hurting. Every poor person that you see, if you got $2, give them one. It's the right thing to do. If you know that someone's in need of something, help them. It's the right thing to do. Forget the things that man has taught you to believe and follow your heart. It knows the way to the truth. Whether you want to believe me or not, if you walk by a homeless person and you see a person out on the street and your conscience bothers you, then you're not following your heart. You're saying, "Oh, $1's not going to help." No, maybe not. But that $1 bought a loaf of bread for him. You may have the idea that, "Oh, well, he'll just buy beer with it." Maybe so. But that's what's feeding him. We have to look beyond ourselves as individuals and human beings on this planet. Because from what I see, there are no borders. There are no fences if you look at it from space. And if you get right down to it, the only person on this planet that's ever made borders, fences, and had an idea of color or race or culture or creed is governments and mankind and the way they've taught them to believe. I do not believe God in any form, any culture, or any race believes that because you're brown or you're black, you're horrible. Or because you're Islamic, you're an extremist. Well, hell, I'm an American citizen, Italian, Native American, and I'm a terrorist for speaking the truth. So you tell me what the truth is. You prove me wrong with my facts. And if you have any patriotism in you, you go out right now today, find a family that needs some food and get it to them. If you can. People say, "What's this big idea, Joe, with all the food?" Look, Chad. I watched a woman and hundreds and maybe 1,000 standing around one truck full of grain. Starving. Literally starving. Not like what you see in the pictures of the starving. It's worse than that. That's happening in America today. Children going hungry. When we have the technology and the ability to grow enough food to feed the world. But anyway, Chad, a woman walked over to a fence. I caught it out of the corner of my eye. She fell over. I come down off the truck, walked over, was looking. She had fell down and died, but not before she gave birth to a baby and the umbilical cord hanging out of it because she was starving to death. Because food in our world is being used as a weapon. It's a weapon against the poor. And in America, it's a weapon against 186 million poor who are stuck in an endless cycle of poverty. And is now becoming a weapon against the middle class. How many of you middle class right now are a paycheck from the street? How many of you middle class wondering how you're going to pay the bills and feed yourself or your children. Did you have a good meal last night? Last night I didn't eat anything. Matter of fact, all day yesterday I didn't eat anything. What food I had, I gave to a woman who had 2 kids. They needed it more than me. I can go a week without eating. That's because I've been conditioned since the day I was a boy to be a soldier. I know the truth. My father was a good man, God-fearing man. My grandfather was a native, spiritual man. My mama a hippie. My grandparents resistance fighters. I'm going to follow my heritage and stick with the truth. And I suggest that every one of you Americans out there, you seek the truth because you're being deceived. And if you truly want a better life for your children, I'll pray for you and I ask God that He opens your heart that you can see the truth. Because the truth has become something that is, as George Orwell said, a revolutionary act. Now I've rambled enough today, and I wanted to make a point. The point is, feed one another, love one another, stand for the truth. You may not be in the military, but each and every soldier that I've ever stood with, fought with, or died, watched them die by me, believed in the truth. They believed in God. They believed they weren't doing this for the government. They weren't going to some other country to take it over and wear doctrines of a Hitler idea. It was to free people, to give them the same freedom and rights that we have in this country, which are being taken away daily. To have these people be able to have a good education, to be able to feed their children and seek a better life. It is our government and the governments of the world and Zionism throughout the Middle East causing such great horrors upon man. If you take what a person has, you tell them they can't believe in what they wish, they're going to fight. And that is exactly what they're doing. They're creating genocide because governments have always created genocide. And I'll leave you with this last note. If I am wrong, please prove it to me. But I suggest this. Patriot Act. Read it. Understand it. Then I would like you to take and go to the Freedom Act. Sponsored, initiated, and put into process by the Nazi Party. Although they may be 2 different wordings, they are one and the same. People, we are being deceived. There is going to come a time when we'll have no choice. We have a choice now. We have a choice. You can call it your vote. Fine. But I don't think that vote's going to make a difference. We have a choice to stand in defiance. To seek the truth. To have the truth placed right back on those who are taking the truth from us. To tell us that we cannot pray. I will pray any damn where I choose. I believe in my God. And anybody who believes in Allah or Buddha or Tao or anything else has every human right to do it. If it's in the middle of the street, praise God. At least he's praying. At least he has hope in something greater than himself. And that's what's being lost in America today. God bless America. Stand free, citizens. Hooah! Joseph Barber and the Resistance stands with you. We pray for you. And we hope that you will open your hearts and your minds to our cause. If you choose to support us, let me know. Stand with us on Facebook. If you can give anything, give it. You don't necessarily have to give it to us. Hey, believe me, I got plenty of people I could feed. I could use financial help, but I'm not getting any from anyone. And nor will I ask. If they wish to give and someone wants to do it out of their heart, then that's exactly what the truth is. There is no greater love to give than yourself to another. God bless America. And as long as I'm on Facebook, I'm going to continue to speak the truth. Prove me wrong if you can. Facebook wishes to silence me. I'll be back. Let us not forget, the government taught me how to be a soldier. My father was taught by the government. My grandfather was taught by those who oppressed his people, along with my grandfather. Hooah! God bless America.